Hi, welcome to Christy's Sunrise. Today I'm going to share with you my recipe for buttermilk pancakes. They are delicious. For this recipe, you're going to need 1 1/4 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt. You're going to need 1 beaten egg, 1 1/3 cups of buttermilk. You're going to need 1 tablespoon of cooking oil or vegetable oil. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of melted butter and half a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, I use this when I make anything with the flour, like the flour tortillas. I used this. Measuring out, and it's kind of like sifting the flour. They used to have those sifters that you would put everything in and pulse it like that. They would get so rusty. So I found these. I bought a package of 3. They weren't very much. Okay, so for the flour, when you're measuring out the flour, you don't want it packed. So I'm kind of just loosening this up some. Okay, so I need 1/4 cup of flour, and it needs to be level. So 1 1/4. Still gonna make sure it's not real packed. 1 1/4 cups of flour, level. Okay, I have the sugar already measured out. Now the sugar I'm going to put straight into the bowl, and the reason is it doesn't always go through the netting. So just going to throw the sugar in there. I need a teaspoon of baking powder. I get the baking powder without the aluminum. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. You're going to need half a teaspoon of baking soda. Again, these need to be level, so they need to be pretty precise. That's the baking soda. And we're going to need half a teaspoon of salt. The salt doesn't go through either all the time, so I'm just going to do that. Okay, so you can shake it like this. This is what I do, just to kind of get it all done. Whatever doesn't go through, just dump it in. Okay, so that's done. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is add the wet ingredients together. Now, we're going to use 1 1/3 cup of buttermilk. Make sure the buttermilk is good, not expired. Do the smell test. And we need 1 1/3. 1 1/3 cup buttermilk. Okay. You're going to need 1 beaten egg, and I will add this to the buttermilk. You're going to need a teaspoon of the cooking oil. Be careful not to, I shouldn't be doing it like this, but I am. Okay, teaspoon of cooking oil. And then I add a tablespoon of melted butter. I have butter melted here in this pot. Spoon of melted butter. Make sure the butter's not real hot. You don't want it to start cooking your egg. And we need half a teaspoon of vanilla. And artificial vanilla is fine. I have Mexican vanilla, but I've used both, and I cannot say that I've seen it like where, oh my gosh, this just makes such a big difference. It might, and I just don't know it. So I am going to stir my wet ingredients together. And you want to kind of make a well. You don't have to, but pour this goodness, mix it all together. Probably use a bigger whisk, but all the lumps do not have to be out of it. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to let it sit for about 10 minutes at least. 10 minutes is good. And you're going to see this mixture of pancake mix change. It's going to kind of get a little bubbly. Pretty cool. So let it sit for about 10 minutes, and I will meet you back over at the griddle. Okay, I have my burners on. Not too high. I don't know if you can see that or not. You will adjust your burners according to your stove. I take a little bit of vegetable oil on a little paper towel and I rub it on my griddle. This is a Lodge griddle. Do you have to have a Lodge griddle? No, you don't. You're going to do what works best for you. When I had the flour tortillas, I had something I had bought at the academy that we used to take camping. So you can use something like that. As you can see, the batter has changed in consistency. It's kind of fluffy. I'm going to put it in this so it's easy for me to pour out onto the griddle. If you don't have a bowl with a pour spout, that's okay. That's okay too. You can use a ladle to scoop your batter out and pour onto the griddle. Whatever you have and whatever works best for you. Hopefully you can see the griddle. I do have the pot with melted butter. After I take the pancakes out of off the skillet, I put them on this pan and then I put them in the oven. I have my oven set at keep warm. It's going to take a little bit for the griddle to get ready, and I will show you how my dad used to teach me when the griddle's done. You could take a little bit of dough, or batter, I'm sorry, put it on the skillet. I used to make, he would call them silver dollar pancakes, and let it cook. Whenever it starts bubbling around the outside of the batter or the pancake, then you can flip it. That's how you'll know that it's done. So it does take a while. You don't want it too hot. You don't want it not hot enough. And I have to adjust mine. Every time I cook them, I don't always set my burners perfectly. So if you don't set your burners perfectly, the first time, it's okay. It's all a learning experience. I will share with you on my buttermilk pancakes. I like to eat mine with peach jam. I don't use syrup. I use peach jam. And in the sugar, the recipe that I have is 2 tablespoons of sugar. I just put 1 most of the time because I don't like sweet things too much. I prefer them not as sweet. So you could try it both ways and decide what works for you, what's best for you. This is starting to bubble a little bit. And again, if you are teaching children how to cook, you want to share this experience with them, the little silver dollar pancakes are a fun thing to do. Okay. See, that's not quite done yet, so it's really not hot enough yet. If you flip it and it's really not hot enough and you get batter on your spatula, clean your spatula off. You want to clean it off. So, but I mean, it is getting hot. Isn't that adorable? And, you know, as you're cooking, it's going to get hotter. I'm going to go ahead and put some batter on. And when I pour it on there, I kind of swirl it out a little bit. They're going to be puffy, airy, delicious pancakes, I guarantee you. And I do think that letting the batter sit for about 10 minutes or so is good. It makes a difference. When we have pancakes, our puppy dogs have pancakes too. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this up just a tad. Let's flip this little guy over again. Oh, he's so cute. Okay, you really need to keep an eye on it because if it's too hot, they're going to burn. I'm hoping they don't do that in this video. But you see the bubbles start kind of forming around this one. This must be a hotter part than this one. Again, if you get batter on your spatula, clean it off. And I feel impatient and want to flip them, but I can't because I don't want them to not turn out. I'm going to be patient. I'm being impatient, but I'm going to peek. Okay, this one's ready. There we go. There we go. Now your burners might not be cooking at the same rate, so you need to be careful. See? I don't know if you could tell that it's puffy. I'm going to take this little guy off because he's done. Come here, little baby. Once you have homemade pancakes, and I don't mean to brag, but this is, you know, a recipe that I've had through the years that, you know, I kind of get and I tweaked. But once you have pancakes made at home, it's tough to get a good pancake made out. It really is. I'm not going to sit here and do the whole batch, but I am going to plate them for you so you can see what they look like. These I'm going to call done. Put that one on the plate. I'm having the butter already here and melted. Add the butter. Of course, you'll add syrup like you like. I'm not a syrup girl, but if you cut into it, you can see how it looks nice and airy. And I'm going to taste it. You're not going to find pancakes like this at a restaurant. Well, you might, but it'll be hard. So, happy cooking. If they end up to be doughy inside, you need to cook them longer. You don't want to cook them too fast because they'll be black on the outside and doughy on the inside. But see, these are kind of fluffy. They're airy. And that's what you're looking for. I hope you try this recipe. And if you like what you see, share the recipe, subscribe to the channel. I have a whole lot more recipes I want to share with you, and have a great day. Bye.